Tracy, thanks so much for talking with me. MJ Acosta Ruiz has said only great things, so I'm so excited to talk to you.
I am excited to talk to you, and I love MJ. She is a dear friend, and I am a big fan of her. She is the best. So I feel like that is an excellent recommendation.
I was just watching her videos on social media, and she is in Dallas right now and hanging out with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And I love that docuseries. So I'm like just obsessed fangirling.
That's totally fair. Yeah, she does so many fun things, and she's so great. And she was a cheerleader for the Dolphins. So like she has that experience and that expertise. It's fun.
She's amazing. But as for you, I feel like a broken record saying this because I always want to start at the very beginning. But let's start at the very beginning. Where'd you grow up? What was your childhood like?
I grew up in LA, actually. I am born and raised. Yeah, which is, I know, surprising. Not that many people are actually from here, but I grew up in Los Angeles and I had a great childhood, really loving parents, loved sports. My whole family was very sports interested. And so that was a big part of my life from the time I was a little girl. But yeah, that was that. I have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother. And now I have two nieces and two nephews who, along with my dogs, are the lights of my life. And that is kind of a little bit about my background and all of that.
So you said that you watched sports a lot as a child. So at what point were you just a fan of sports growing up, or did you actually have this in your mind? Like, maybe this is something I would want to pursue as a career?
No, I didn't necessarily think that way when I was a kid. I just was a big sports fan and loved watching. And I really didn't think of it as a career until later. And I did other things before. I did voiceover work. I worked in politics and started my company because I felt like there wasn't really anything at the time that spoke to female fans. So I wanted to create a place for that. But yeah, as a kid, I really wasn't thinking that way. I just loved going to games and watching games and had my teams and players and all of that fun stuff.
So when did you study sports in college? Like, what was the career trajectory like for you?
I did not. I was an English literature major, and I did write for the paper. I went to the University of Michigan, go Blue, and I wrote.
I'm from Michigan.
You are?
Too.
What part?
Sterling Heights, a suburb outside Detroit.
I know exactly where that is. I loved the University of Michigan. Big parts of my brand are my love for Michigan and my love for the Dodgers, and so I absolutely love Michigan, and I loved going to school there. So, so I studied English literature there. I wrote for the sports for the Michigan Daily. And then after school, I did some acting and voiceover work. I actually was the voice of Barbie on Barbie.com and BarbieGirls.com, which was that's always a big exciting thing when I tell people that. They love that I was the voice of Barbie. That's like my claim to fame in life.
Do you remember any of your lines?
I do remember some of my lines. Let's see. There was so there was one. Oh, this is my favorite line that I think we all need to live by, and that is, sometimes a girl's just gotta wear a tiara. That was great because we were in like a princess land, and then Barbie had a TV studio. So one of my lines was, "There's a whole TV studio in here," and it was fun. I loved it, and even
I love it.
It was really fun, and I moved to DC while I did that, and I worked for the former mayor of DC, and while I would go after work to a studio on Connecticut Avenue after work because it was 3 hours early in Los Angeles and record. So we did it for a long time, and it was a lot of fun. It really was.
Oh my goodness. So you were an English major.
Yes.
And you did voiceover work. And when did sports happen? Like, when did that actually evolve?
So I was working, like I said, for the former mayor of DC, and we lost re-election. I stayed on and ran his nonprofit and all of his private sector endeavors, but that basically was at a point where I was either staying in DC or I was moving back to Los Angeles. And my brothers were having kids, and I love my niece and nephews. I didn't want to be so far away from them. So I moved back to LA, and I worked at this is a mouthful, a philanthropic and donor advising firm. And philanthropic and political donor advising firms. So we would help our clients decide the best places to donate their money, things where they were like-minded and aligned. But I came into the firm at kind of a weird time. So there was not a lot for me to do. So for fun, I started a blog. At the time, I was a 49ers fan. I grew up a 49ers fan. I'm now in my 10th season covering the team, so I'm not a fan anymore. Beat reporters are unbiased, and it not in a bad way. It just changes it because it's just a part of your job. But
Yeah.
I thought I would just kind of for fun start a blog. And it was called The Trials and Tribulations of My Love-Hate Relationship with the San Francisco 49ers. And it was very wordy. And it was funny because the URL was trialstribblog.com. It didn't even have the word 49ers in it. All of my social media, I mean, it was so early in this time. Like, I just didn't even think about it. My social media was like Trials Tribs blog. I mean, it sounded like a legal blog, legal whatever. But I took it seriously. I hired someone to create a logo. And I created on WordPress. And he kind of like tweaked it a little bit, and I would write during the week. I would write some sort of feature. I would write a pregame, like a game preview. I would write a game recap, and I treated it like a business because I wanted to see what it would be like. And as I mentioned before, I came into the firm I was working for at a weird time, and people read the blog. Not a lot of people, but enough people that I felt like, you know what, there might be something here. And I had a friend who at the time was working for an MCN, and she said, I don't know, I look at these creators and I think you could do that. You're so good on camera. You have such a great personality. You know what you're talking about. You should try it. And so I decided to turn it into a business. And it was at first 49ers Fangirl. And then we became Fangirl Sports Network about a year later. Within a year, the 49ers credentialed me. So my mindset changed in terms of the fandom part of it. But I do content that is a little more, I do the normal analysis, the game recaps, the game previews, all of that stuff I do. But then I get to do things like Niners Unplugged. And that's every week I talk to the guys and ask them. Last week was Halloween, so candy corn, yay or nay. It's what Disney character would you be? So a lot of fun, or they like to call it the fun question of the week. And so I get to do kind of these other avenues of content that I know fans like, because I love seeing that with the Dodgers and with Michigan. So I get to do all of it, really kind of somewhat a little bit, I think, because of how I started. And it's been fun. But this is now my 10th season covering the team, so it's been a while now.
I think it's fun seeing those little videos too, because
people love them.
We see so much about sports, but sometimes you just want to break it up and see some relatability out of these players, right?
Yes. And I started a series. I started it when I started the blog, when I would write during the week. The first year, the 49ers were not very good. The first year of 49ers Fangirl. And so I was like looking for ways to make the content more interesting. And so I started something at the time called 5 Fun Facts. And I did it because the kicker at the time was Phil Dodson, and I love alliteration. And he was like the highest scoring player on the team. So I was like, well, this will be kind of a funny thing to do. 5 Fun Facts about Phil Dodson. Well, it's evolved, and it's something I do with all of the players now on video, where they get to tell us 5 fun facts about themselves. I do it with the rookies at rookie minicamp. I do it whenever a new player comes to the team. And it's a thing. Everybody knows 5 Fun Facts is part of the deal, and it's been fun, and people love it because, again, it is a way to know them differently. And it's not tell me about your injury. It's not why'd you miss that tackle. It's not what went wrong in the game or what went right in the game, but it's a way for them to just talk about kind of fun things that no one else is really talking to them about.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of your time working for the former mayor of DC and working in politics, did it ever cross your mind that maybe you wanted to be a political reporter or go into politics on the journalism front?
No. No, it did not. It never did.
Interesting.
No, I never even thought about it. I really wasn't necessarily looking to go into the journalism front at all. Even though I had done that in college, I had written for the Daily. It really wasn't something that was on my mind. And then I just, like I said, I was at this firm at a weird time, and there just wasn't a lot for me to do. And football season was starting, and I had the background as a writer. So I was like, I'll start a blog for fun. It'll be another outlet. I watch all the games. I talk to my friends about the 49ers. Maybe I should see what will happen with it. And it just started because I really had no intention of going into journalism at all.
Yeah. And speaking of your time now launching this media female sports company, you've never been at any of the stations reporting, right? Like you never went to a local station and reported sports at a local station, right?
No, I just started this, and it's grown from there.
Yeah. Does that feel strange at all to you? Because I know that so many people that look up to you have went the traditional sports route.
Yeah, no, not at all. it's just, I think we live in a world now too where there's so many ways to get involved, and we do live in a world now where you
Yeah.
can just start something.
Yeah.
And that's always my advice to people is just, if you want to start something, just start it. Don't wait for, oh, I have to do this. Just start it. Get your reps. That's the best way to start doing it. But no, it really hasn't. It just kind of worked out that way. And I worked hard. And I think it was clear, even when the 49ers credentialed me, I think it was clear to them that although my blog at the time was Fangirl, I was very professional, and I was treating this very much like a business and looking at it as a business, and was always going to behave accordingly. So I think it was just a different path, but it's a path that I think a lot of people can do now. And so much of what we see and are doing is digital and is moving towards digital that, I think there's just so many ways how to do it. And it's nice because there are so many ways to do it now. You don't have to necessarily go the traditional route. You certainly can, and that's an amazing route to go, but there are a lot of different ways you can do things now.
Exactly. When you were launching your own network, did you feel underestimated at all being a female?
No, I didn't. Not being a female, I think in the beginning, I never felt underestimated, but I do think in the beginning, because before we became Fangirl Sports Network, it was 49ers Fangirl. And so I think the term fangirl at the time had a little bit more of a negative connotation. I would say that the best compliment, or one of the best compliments I've received in my time starting this, was that I took a word with a negative connotation and turned it into a positive. And that a fangirl is a woman who loves her team. Well, it could love all kinds of things, but loves her team, is knowledgeable about her team, doesn't have to be an expert, but probably is, even though sometimes men don't want to think that way or other people don't want to think that way. But I turned it into a positive thing about a woman who just loves sports and loves the team she roots for and enjoys it, and also enjoys the lifestyle part of sports and the other part of sports. So I think that was the only thing, but I was never underestimated. And even when I first started covering the 49ers, that first season, it was 49ers Fangirl, and the other reporters were really supportive and welcoming. And I do think I'm lucky that is a team I went to. The 49ers maybe being in Silicon Valley, I think the digital part of it and all of that was a little bit more common. We just happened to have a really good beat in San Francisco. I don't know what it's like other places because I have never covered another professional team, but we have a good supportive beat, and that really helped. But I never felt underestimated because I've always known what I was talking about. And that's something else I always tell people, like, just let the work speak for itself. Once you start talking, once you start sharing your knowledge, your analysis, it speaks for itself. If you're prepared, if you know what you're saying, then no one can take that and no one can say anything about it. I mean, and you just can't take things personally. I mean, today is the NFL trade deadline, and the 49ers did not make a big move. I didn't think they were going to make a big move for a variety of reasons. I tweeted or posted on X and said, trade deadline is come and gone. The 49ers did the right thing by not doing any of the things. And somebody responded, here's our shill for the team. You just have to ignore it. I'm not a shill for the team. It's just, they did the right thing. And that's my opinion. And that's okay. And you just have to ignore that stuff. So, but I wouldn't say I actually ever felt underestimated. And I think also I never underestimated myself. So it didn't even matter if anybody else did.
How has Fangirl evolved over the years since you started?
A lot. It's so funny. It feels like the Fangirl I started is so different than the Fangirl today in a really good way. But when I originally started, I thought I was going to have a Fangirl for every team, for every sport. And we did at one point have a Fangirl for every NFL and NBA team. But it didn't work. It just didn't work. I wanted it to work. And it's okay that it didn't work. But it didn't work. It worked for some of the teams. And they didn't have the access that I have, but it just wasn't like that I have covering the 49ers. So it didn't work. So COVID forced me to make a decision that I was going to have to make eventually. And so we changed the model and really focused on the Fangirl content, because while we had all these women covering teams, Fangirl was taking on its own personality and its own way of covering really kind of everything going on in the major, going on in the world of sports. And so all of a sudden, the time among the people who work with me, was better spent on that content. And so now we have created a place with really fun, really informative content. 5 Fun Facts has become a series we do on Fangirl every week, picking something very relevant in the sports, whether it be a player, an event, a rivalry, and doing 5 fun facts around it. We do a lot of memes that cover sports kind of in a different way, obviously share news and analysis, but we've really, really grown. And we actually just launched an initiative, if I could tell you about it.
Yeah, I love that.
It's great. It is, we would like the day after the big game to be a national holiday. And it is something people have kind of joked about for years and said for years. We actually launched an initiative this week. We have a petition on change.org. People are signing it. It's called the Official Timeout, and it is an initiative to make the day after the big game a national holiday. So if you're watching, listening, go sign up, share it on social media. But the Official Timeout, it's fun. And honestly, it would be amazing if that were to happen. I don't think there are a lot of people that would be against that.
Well, haven't there been talks to have the Super Bowl the day before President's Day so that it would line up with a holiday?
I don't know. People have thrown out ideas over the years, but I don't believe, to our knowledge, no one has actually ever put it to action. So there we go. So, and we could that could work too. But make it a national holiday.
Is there a deadline for this?
No, we have it. It's up. It's up right now, and the petition is open. So please go ahead, sign away. Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. It was something a member of my team, Kelsey, came up with, and Kelsey and Bailey are 2 women that really run the fangirl side of things, and they are fantastic, and they've done an amazing job with it. And I think it was kind of a genius idea because it's for years people have been talking about. People today have been getting a lot of messages from people who said, I always joke that should be the case. Thank you for putting it into action. So we'll see what happens. But that's our fun initiative that we just launched.
So for your day-to-day schedule, what does your day in the life kind of look like?
It's very different every day, but this season I also am a host on Fox Football Saturday, which is a Fox Sports radio show. And I also am a host on the 49ers pre- and post-game for all home games on KNBR, which is their flagship station. And then I have 3 KNBR segments during the week. So every day is a little bit different and a little bit bananas, but in the best possible way. But usually the day starts, with a workout. Going through, I wake up, I check to make sure there isn't any major news or anything that I need to be on top of and covering right away. If there is, that becomes priority number 1. Get a workout in, walk my dogs, and then go about kind of preparing my content for the week on the 49er side. What is it that I want to do this week that maybe is a feature, or what do I want Niners Unplugged to be this week? Who do I need to get a 5 fun facts with? All of that kind of stuff. Looking ahead to the game, prepping for, and this kind of goes on throughout the week, but prepping for my segments on KNBR, because I go on and they look to me and as an expert and insider on the team because I'm there every day. I'm at practice every day. I'm at every game. So kind of get caught up on everything. Just make sure there's nothing that I'm missing or that I'm not completely prepared for. And then on the fangirl side, I'm checking in with Kelsey and Bailey. What kind of is new this week? What are we doing? They're fantastic. So I trust them so much. And so they always have a great content plan. So they're usually, on top of everything. And then on Wednesdays, I fly up to the Bay. I'm there till Thursday night. I'm at practice Wednesday and Thursday, come back. And then the weekend depends on where they play. So it's kind of every day is different. There are a lot of flights during the week. It's a lot of stuff, but I like doing it. It's a lot of fun.
But you don't live in the Bay Area.
I do. I spend half my week there during the season.
And is that crazy? Jumping back and forth between you live in SoCal, right?
Yeah.
The other half of the time, bouncing back and forth. Did you ever think maybe I should just stay in Northern California?
No, my family is in LA, and I really didn't, because I've been used to it at this point. I've been doing it for 10 seasons now. So not really. It's such an easy flight, and it works out really nicely. I stay over, like I said, stay over Wednesday nights, and then the weekend it just depends where they are because I'm wherever they are. But no, not really. I never really wanted to move. I love Southern California, and like I said, my family's here, and so I just didn't really have the interest in moving, and it's worked out very well. I've made it work, and it's just like now it's just a normal part of my week and my season.
I think your story is such a testament that women who want to go into sports don't necessarily need to go to the traditional route anymore, that there are so many other options out there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you touch upon that and women that want to go into sports and are thinking about what avenues that they could pursue?
I think, it's like I said earlier, I think this is the big thing. If you like it, just do it. Yeah, and that's not to be like a Nike ad, but you just start. I mean, look at like Katie Feeney, who's now doing content for ESPN. She just started doing it in college. And I think you can create a whole world just by starting. And there's different avenues. I don't think there's a wrong way, a right way, a better way, or a worse way. It's just a way that works for you. But we do have the potential that I say to people a lot, like if you like doing it or you just want to start a podcast, you can absolutely start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, start an Instagram page, go on Instagram after every game. Let's pretend you're a huge Bears fan. After every Bears fan, go on Instagram and film a game recap. Talk about what happened. Talk about your feelings about what happened and post it. And see what happens. And I think it's a little bit easier said than done because it's hard to put yourself out there. But by the same token, you kind of have to put yourself out there. And that's true of anything. If you got hired at the local station, if you got hired by the local newspaper, if you got hired by The Athletic or any of these places, you're going to have to put yourself out there with your opinions, and not everyone's going to like them and not everyone's going to agree. But I think it's cool to live in a world where you can do that and see what happens and where it leads to. And you'll test things. It's like I said with Fangirl, my thought was, and if people at the time I started, where do you see it in 5 years? Oh, a Fangirl for every team in every professional sport. It didn't work. That's okay. It wasn't an abject failure. It wasn't the end of the world. That part didn't work. But along the way, learned a lot of things that did work. And so that's so much of what it is. So it's cool to be able to do that. And you just do it. I know it's easier said than done because it's not so easy for people to just do that. And that's okay too if that's not the universal journey.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is a cool part of what we do or what the world we live in, that we have that ability, because you could just kind of go out there and be like, you know what, I'm going to talk about the Bears. I'm going to go on 3 times a week. Every day I'm going to post stuff about the Bears and let's see what happens. Or just about the NFL. Annie Agar is a great example of that.
Yeah, I'm a recovering perfectionist, but I've had to learn over time that you need to just take action and do it and then refine afterwards. And that's what I always try to tell our listeners is that sometimes you just got to do it, and it might not be perfect, and that's okay.
And it probably won't be
and then
perfect.
You can refine, and then you can refine after that and tweak the things that want to make it better, you know?
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is nothing will ever be perfect to everyone, if that makes sense. Ugh. So it's if you're confident in the work you're doing, if you're comfortable in the work you're doing, if you like the work you're doing, that's really all that matters. And there will be an audience for it. There will always be naysayers. There are always people that don't like it. I mean, someone wrote a comment on my Instagram the other day, someone who doesn't follow me. And I recently cut my hair in this cute little bob that I love, and I've never had more compliments on a haircut in my life. I bring that up to say someone posted on, again, someone without a profile photo who doesn't follow me, and said, I can't stop looking at your psycho haircut. And this is obviously not business related, but this is part of it. And I actually was very proud of myself because I just blocked the person because it was like, you don't follow me anyway. If you're just going to go around and there's no reason to have you on here. But I didn't let it bother me. And that's the thing. People have come on last year. The 49ers were really struggling, and people were like, Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired. And it was like, that is honestly one of the most ridiculous takes I've ever heard. They have 8,000 injuries. Who are you ever going to get that's better than Kyle Shanahan? And he's not on the hot seat. He's not getting fired. People commented, you're embarrassing. You don't know what you're talking about. Typical girl. You just got to ignore it, which is easier said than done. But I say all that to say it'll never be perfect to everyone. It'll never be perfect to you. But are you confident? Are you happy with what you're putting out there? Do you feel good about it? And at the end of the day, that's what matters.
You sound very confident. Where does this confidence come from?
I mean, it's taken years, I'll be honest. I definitely, that psycho haircut comment like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, probably would have had me in total tears. Like, oh, that should it not be? So for the 8, and this, we all do this, for the 150 people who love the haircut, the one person who I've never met in my life who said the mean thing is the one that you're going to think about. You just,
Yep.
it's taken a while. It's taken time. It's a learning experience. It's a learning curve. I think therapy is very important. Therapy a long time. But, I think that's just, it's taken time. But one thing I've always been confident in is my work. And that I keep going back to that because I know I do a good job. I know what I'm talking about. And so if someone doesn't like it, that's fine. But I do know that. And so I think that's a thing that has been really helpful. And I think when I worked in politics, honestly, I worked for the former mayor of DC, like I said, and it was tremendous for me because I'd never worked in politics before. I was thrown in and I got my first promotion within 6 months because I worked really, really hard. And I was good at my job, but I put in a lot of work. And working for him, I think, gave me so much confidence in that way because it really showed me how hard work, talent, preparation, that's the stuff that matters when it comes to the business world. And so then when I could do that, I think I kind of felt like I could do anything.
Yeah, I can see that because you launched your own media empire and you make it sound so simple, but obviously
Definitely not simple.
launching your own business, I mean, that takes guts too.
It does. I think it does take guts. I've always had a very outgoing personality. I've always been very much myself. I have a friend, Lindsay Polaris, who used to be the 49ers team reporter. She was the reporter for a couple of years. And she said to me, this is, again, one of the biggest compliments I think I've ever received, is she said that she was talking to somebody and she said, the thing with Tracy is she is 100% authentically herself and she doesn't care what anybody thinks about it. And that has taken time. But as I look back on it, like when I was growing up and I was a huge sports fan, the 49ers fan, and I would wear like jerseys to school on game day, that wasn't normal. I mean, quote unquote normal. And for the time and quote unquote girls weren't really sports fans. And it was so like, people thought it was cool, but some people thought it was weird. And I just didn't care. And for all of the things I haven't been confident in over the years and all of the ups and downs of that, I think somehow the one thing I have been confident is this side of me where this is me. Like I am going to post about Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. I am going to post about JJ McCarthy. He's my favorite Michigan player ever. And I am going to post about him as much as I want to every day. And if you don't like it, no problem. You don't have to follow me. But I'm me. And it's part of what makes me who I am. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's taken a long time to get to. That's not like something I just like woke up with one day. I mean, that took a long time to get to.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good segue. So when you look at other sports reporters and women in sports, what skills do you see in them that stick out to you as being strong female sports reporters?
We talked about MJ Acosta, who I think is also someone who is 100% herself and tremendous at her job. And I've learned over the years, every sports reporter I've ever talked to, male or female, has always said, be prepared. Like when I say let the work speaks for itself, that's not something I came up with. That's something I've learned over time. And I look at women who go out there and they're themselves and they don't let the naysayers bother them. Mina Kimes is someone I look up to a lot. She started in business. She was a business reporter. She's one of the best, greatest sports minds I've ever known, male or female. She's unbelievable. And she just started doing it. And look at her today. She's amazing. So I look at her. I look at people like Pam Oliver, who was a sideline reporter when that was not something that women did. There were not female sideline reporters. Erin Andrews, she's been through a lot. She's had ups and downs, criticism. She's tremendous at her job. She is one of the best at her job. Tracy Wilson, MJ Acosta, Joy Taylor. I mean, these are all women that I have looked up to over the years who have taught by example the importance of doing what you love, being prepared, being good at it, and not worrying about, what other people say. And I think that's really, really important. There's so many women I look up to. Kiana Martin, who's a very dear friend of mine. She was the 49ers team reporter when I first started, and I've learned so much from her. And I think it's important for women in the industry to support each other and lift each other. And I know it sounds cliche, but it really is. There is room for all of us, and learn from each other, work together, collaborate, all of the things. But those are the skills that I've learned of confidence, knowledge, preparation, and the rest of it will be what it will be. You can't control it. Those are the only things you can control. You can't control a lot of the other stuff.
So speaking of your career and your job, are there certain story moments that really stick out to you, events that you've covered that really stand out in your mind?
Yes. My first Super Bowl that I covered. So I've covered 2 Super Bowls. I do a lot of stuff around Super Bowl no matter what, but I've covered 2. The 49ers were in the 2019 one and then 2023. And I would say the 2019 Super Bowl, I mean, honestly, thinking about it makes me feel emotional. I remember just waking up that morning and being like, I started this and I'm covering the Super Bowl today. I'm a credentialed media member covering the Super Bowl. And that was like a very cool, what do you call them, tentpole moment, I guess, where I was like, that was cool for me. Like I did this. And, you know, the radio opportunities I've gotten and that I'm now doing were me honestly reaching out to people and saying, I love doing radio. I'd like to do more. And please think of me. And Fox, I was at dinner with my friend Carmen, and I just happened to mention I had done some stuff on KNBR and I loved doing it. And a few weeks later, she's like, hey, we need a fill-in this weekend. Would you be open to it? I was like, sure. And so doing that. And then this year they announced me as part of their football season, the team. And that was really cool. But that Super Bowl really that was a very cool moment for me.
Yeah, amazing. So you also work for Fox Sports Radio, or
yes.
you're one of the how do I say this?
Hosts. I'm a host
freelance,
I'm a host on Fox Football Saturday. So there's 4 of us that are hosts, and there's 2 at a time, and we rotate. So yeah, that's kind of how that worked.
Yeah, can you tell me what that experience is like?
It's really fun. It was different. I've always felt like I wanted to have my finger on the pulse and kind of everything going on in sports, because you never know when an opportunity might come. And what's been cool about Fox is it's given me really the opportunity to do that, because I'm so used to talking about the 49ers. People come to me a lot for Dodger stuff and Michigan football. And then we talk about during this part of the season, it is football, but it's the whole league. I do it a lot in the not football season, and we're talking about everything. Really, like everything going on. So it's given me the opportunity to make sure that I really am knowledgeable on the WNBA, the NBA, soccer, I mean, all tennis, things that just all kinds of sports. And it's fun to know all that and to get to talk about it. So I have absolutely loved it. And I actually really love doing radio. It's very cool. The first time I hosted, KNBR had me fill in on during the holidays a couple of years ago. It was the morning show from 6 to 10 a.m. I had never done that. And it was talk about trial by fire. It's got thrown in there, but that was really fun. But that's still talking basically 49ers and Bay Area stuff. So with Fox, I get the best of all worlds where I get to do both.
Yeah. Any sports standouts or team standouts that you see this year?
For just
NFL?
NFL. And yes, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the real deal. And I think people don't always think of them that way. I think they are the real deal. I think the Eagles are also very much the real deal again. And they've made some trades in the last few days that make them even more so. I think the Seattle Seahawks are very much back as a force to be reckoned with. I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl before the season started, and I do stand by that pick. So those are some things that I see kind of in the NFL coming up. In the NBA, I'm a really big Luka Doncic fan, so go Lakers. I've always been a Lakers fan, but I love Luka Doncic. But yeah, I think in the NFL, those are the ones. Those are all, I guess, those are all NFC teams. In the AFC, I would say the Chiefs are struggling more than we've seen them struggle, but don't count them out. The Bills are really good in a lot of ways, but they do have weaknesses. So we will see how those play out for them. But those are kind of the ones. The NFC is going to be a little bit more interesting, I think. I think there are a lot of good teams and there are a lot of teams that are kind of all on the same level. And I think it'll come down to kind of the end of the season to see, especially those final few playoff spots will be very interesting.
What about my poor Detroit Lions? We had so much hope last year.
Oh, and I think the Detroit Lions I think they'll obviously go to the playoffs. But I think actually every team in the NFC North very well could end up going to the playoffs. I think the Detroit Lions are a fantastic football team, and they're still very much in it. So the NFC to me is like, could be the Eagles, the Bucks, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears. I mean, that's not that many teams are making the playoffs, but 7 of those teams are, and I think it's coming down to the end for a lot of them. I really do. It's going to be a really fun season. But your Detroit Lions still have a lot of hope, and I think are very, very much in the mix.
It's been so crazy because my Detroit Lions are my number 1 team, but then Matthew Stafford moved over to the Rams, which is my number 2 team. And that became very difficult to decide. Like, I would go to a game, I'd be like, well, who do I really go for? Because now I really love Stafford, and Rams are my number 2 team. But like, Detroit Lions are my team from growing up,
Well, I think you could, sometimes if this ever happens to me, I feel like you can look at it as like, you'll be happy no matter who wins. You may be you might be more sad the Detroit Lions lost, but you'll be happy. When the Dodgers, when they clinched the World Series and between the Blue Jays and the Mariners, my mom's from Seattle, and we have a lot of really good friends in Seattle. And one of my really close friends, she's a huge Dodger fan, but she's also a Mariners fan. And so she said, I'm rooting for the Dodgers, but if the Mariners play the Dodgers and the Mariners win, it's kind of the best of all worlds. So I guess you could look at it that way. It's not easy being a fan. People don't realize it's a lot. It's not so easy. It really is not.
Yeah. Before I let you go, for women that want to get to where you are today, what piece of advice would you give them?
I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning, is to just do it. Just start. That's the best thing that I can say, because if you think about it a lot and you think, well, I was thinking I would start now or I'd start later or when this calms down, just start doing it. Just start doing it, see what happens. You could, like we talked about, you can adjust, you can fine tune, you could do a 180. You'd be like, this didn't work, but I have this idea. I think this will work. But the big key is to just start it. And again, be prepared, know your stuff. And if you have those things going for you, then you are in really good shape.
Yeah. You obviously seem very content in your career, but what's next? Is there anything else coming up?
Well, I think at the moment, this is what we have at the moment. The 2 radio shows are both new this season. So those have been the 2 big additions. Obviously, we have our initiative coming up on Fangirl. There are still things in the works and things in the future that I can't talk about yet, but that, everybody will see sooner rather than later. But that's kind of where we are right now. And it's a good place to be. I'm really excited about the radio shows. I love hosting radio. I love doing on-camera stuff. I love hosting. So I'm excited to do more and more of that. But the 2 radio shows have been so fun and such fun opportunities. And I feel very grateful that I get to do them.
Ready for rapid fire?
Let's do it.
All right. Fill in the blank. If I weren't a sports journalist, sports owner, sports badass girl boss, fangirl boss, what would you be?
I would be a stylist.
A stylist? Like fashion?
Fashion, yeah. A fashion stylist, yeah.
That's what I said too during my solo episode.
I love it. Yes. I mean, I have so much fun with it. And I've always been kind of entrepreneurial, and I had a personal shopping company several years ago. And so I did all kinds of shopping, but I did some styling, and it was fun.
Look at you. Your coffee order.
Oh, a latte with whole milk.
Perfect. Straight to the point. Mm-hmm. Your favorite travel destination?
France. Everywhere in France. I love France. But Paris is probably my number 1.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the food is amazing.
Oh, so good.
Speaking of which, your favorite restaurant?
Ooh, that is a very, very good question. Like in the whole world?
Well, I mean, I guess that you could give me some maybe LA ones,
Okay,
local
I'll go.
ones that
Let's
you
go
love.
with an LA. I love Craig's. I love Matsuhisa. There's a sushi restaurant in West Hollywood called Shinpachi that I love. And then this is a relatively new one. It might be recency bias, but there's a restaurant called The Benjamin, and they have a really good burger. And I
Ooh.
love a good burger.
Oh, that's good. I'll have to check it out.
It's really good.
And Craig from Craig's, have you ever met him?
Yes, I know him very
He's
well.
incredibly nice.
He's wonderful. He's a really great person. Yeah, he's awesome.
Something people often get wrong about you.
I'm going to quote Taylor Swift on this. Mistaking kindness for weakness. That's actually one of her songs recently, and that really resonated with me because I am a nice person. I'm happy. I'm bubbly, but I'm not weak, and you can't take advantage of me. So I would say that.
Yeah. The last movie, TV show, or book you watched and loved?
Oh gosh, that's a very good question. I'm a voracious reader, and I read all the time. The problem is I read back to back to back, and then I forget the names of the books. So, but you know what TV show I really enjoyed? It's not an easy show. It's a tough subject matter, but Black Rabbit. It's called Black
Rabbit. I was gonna say White Rabbit, but
yes, Black Rabbit. It's really good, really, really good. During baseball season, I'm watching the Dodgers pretty much every day, so I don't get to watch as much. But I really liked Black Rabbit. I binged it. It was really good.
A snapshot of an ordinary, everyday moment that gives you true joy.
Being with my dogs.
Aww.
Just getting to cuddle with my dogs and watch TV. That makes me so happy. They're so cute.
If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
Oh, that's an interesting question. For a day, Shohei Ohtani. I'd be curious.
I love this answer.
Yes.
Why?
Because I would be curious what it would be like. I think Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player in the world. And I think obviously you look at that as oh, I would want to be that. But I think it'd be interesting to see what it's like from a day. Shohei Ohtani can't just go to dinner. Shohei Ohtani can't just go out and get a coffee. What would that be like if I wanted a coffee? Does someone have to get it for me? Can I go? Or is there a certain place I can go where I won't be mobbed? I'd be kind of interested to see. Also, I think it'd be cool to be the greatest baseball player in the world for a day.
I mean, that might be kind of nice, right?
Yes. I think that'd be very cool.
One thing you're deeply grateful for right now?
My family. My parents, especially. I have really wonderful, supportive parents.
And you said your parents live in Los Angeles,
right?
Yes,
they do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. So nice.
It is. It's really, really nice.
Last question.
Yes.
If you could go back in time to when you first started your career, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
That is a very good question. I would say don't hang on to things just because it's what you thought you were supposed to do in the beginning or what your vision was in the beginning. Just kind of let things happen as they should, I guess would be a good. Be flexible. And probably an easier way to say that would be, be flexible, which I've been good about being, but I think in the beginning that would have been good advice too.
Yeah. Did you have a different vision when you were first starting out?
Well, having the Fangirls for every team was the vision. And then it just changed. It changed for the better. Fangirl is in the best place it's been the last 5 years. So it was the right change, but that was the original vision for it.
Yeah, you make a good point to be flexible in the changes that happen and not be so stuck on the outcome and knowing what the outcome is, because the outcome could be even better than what you envision it if you open up that room and that opportunity for it, right?
100%. That is very true. And I think a very important, not easy thing to remember, but an important thing to remember.
Yeah. Well, Tracy, this was so fun. I had so much fun talking to you and learning your career story. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you want our listeners to know about Fangirl Sports Network?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? Check it out. I think would be if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's really fun. The content, I know I might be biased, but I also am pretty aware, and the content is really good. It's very funny. It's original. It's fun. It's also very informative. So check out Fangirl because I've always wanted Fangirl Sports Network to be a place where female fans felt they can be whatever fan they want to be, and we've created that. So if you have not checked it out yet, check it out.
And where can people follow you?
They can follow me at Tracy Sandler on Instagram and just Tracy Sandler and TikTok. Fangirl is at Fangirl Sports Network. And then our website is fgsn.com. But if you could only pick one, go with that Fangirl Sports Network because you won't miss anything.